write to me regularly, telling me about the quality of life that has been impacted, the noise.
About the place. What's at stake for the town?
To the Prime Minister as well.
It's quite late in the day to only be at the highlighting stage, though, isn't it?
It's not just a highlight, they're highlighting solutions to be able to move forward, as Roger's just pointed out.
Charlotte, you stood to represent Dover in Parliament, so I'm assuming you know quite a lot about the place. What's at stake for the town if politicians do not manage to sort this out?
Oh, it's huge. The town's economy, all the businesses in it, people's livelihoods. I have residents from Aycliffe write to me regularly, telling me about the quality of life that has been impacted, the noise, the lights, the rubbish, the people. But it's more than that. It's air pollution, it's livelihoods. And I sat on this same sofa exactly here 2 years ago with Maria Caulfield, where you are there, and she said there would be no problems at all. We had a right old argument, just like you and I have just done. And I said, absolutely not. Dover, the people of Dover are going to be the whipping boys of Brexit. And look what's happened. They've managed to deliver the town, the area I love, an absolutely bad Brexit. People want what Boris promised. He delivered nothing like that.
What do you want Roger to do now as leader of Kent County Council in terms of bringing national government to bear on this, Charlotte?
Yep. So we've been talking about the dualling of the A2 and those lorry parks for 20 years. 20 years. Labour, Conservative, various administrations. Roger, get it done. I mean, please get it done. The people of Dover and their children and their lungs and their livelihoods need you to get it done, please.
You agree with that, don't you? You want to get it done.
Absolutely. And we have been, I mean, I think it was mentioned, is it a bit late that we're pushing it now? The truth is, we have been pushing this, and Partners in Kent have been pushing this for many, many years.
How would you describe your level of frustration with national government over this?
We are, we are very frustrated because we do want to see an end result. Now, as Charlotte says, this is something that's gone on for many years under governments of different colours. Some things have been done. For instance, we pushed very hard last year about ensuring that there was at Bastion Point the DEFRA checks as well. So there's a range, and we saw Sevington brought in on the M20 couple of years ago, delivered actually by Kent County Council, though with Department for Transport funding. So, but there is a lot more needs to be done. And our focus is above all on the idea that it's a huge issue for people in Dover. It's a very big issue for people across Kent. It's also an issue of national significance.
But the people
and that is the point.
People of Kent and Dover have been lied to. They were said this wouldn't happen again and again and again, and they voted under the premise that this wouldn't happen. They've been lied to twice. 3 times, 4 times.
I think we've been very clear about what we see as the problems and the solutions we're seeking to bring to bear on it.
We are going to have to keep an eye on it over the summer because obviously we've got all the factors that are coming in over the summer with more passengers as well. Roger, thank you for joining us today. Finally today, if you are a regular, you'll know that our guest Charlotte has a quest to get a statue of a celebrated 17th century writer put up in Canterbury. Now, Aphra Behn was a playwright and a poet and possibly also a spy. She was also a woman. Let's take a little look, shall we? Because you've been working on this for some time. People perhaps don't know what you did in a previous career. Do you want to explain quickly?
I was a teacher. I was a teacher of English and drama, and Aphra Behn had just crept onto the A-level syllabus, but she'd been neglected for 200 years, really because she was a woman, and she wrote some pretty steamy stuff. And we want to replace her, get a statue of her. She was Britain's first professional woman writer. That's massive internationally. Kent should be so proud of her. And we want a statue up celebrating her right on Canterbury High Street, the city where she grew up.
Shall we have a look at the 4 designs that are still in the running that people will be choosing from? Now they're here. We slightly sort of shrunk down the images of them, and these are clearly miniature versions. There are 3 that are sort of very obviously a woman in character costume. Top right, slightly more unusual. What's going on there?
So that's a sculpture by Maurice Blick, and he's a Holocaust surviving sculptor, a really interesting artist in his own right. And he's created a sort of amorphous Aphra sitting on the books whose legacy remains, but the woman unknown, kind of drifting off into the air. It's a really, really interesting interpretation of the brief.
Let's put them back up on screen and ask Stephen if he's got an opinion. Can we put them back up on screen for a moment? There we can. Oh, there's a lot of words over the top of them. There we go.
I think I would definitely go for the bottom right, and I'll be hugely supportive of this statue.
Yeah.
As the father of 2 daughters, I think anything that inspires them to.
You're a feminist.
To write, to be able to really express themselves and have heroes as well. Yeah. I think that's hugely important.
Are you a feminist?
Am I a feminist? Do I support women's rights and making sure that Absolutely, there's equality in society and across society.
Why
Yes,
are
I
you
do.
scared of saying it then?
Pardon?
Why are you scared of saying yes then?
Give me 5 minutes, I'll make a feminist of them afterwards.
Roger, do you think we need more interesting statues in Kent? What do you make of the whole idea?
I certainly think this is a very good cause, so I'd be in favour of it, certainly. And if you look at that range, I think there's some really good options there.
Yeah.
I'm actually quite drawn by the top right one.
The amorphous one.
Yes, I was quite struck by that
Yeah.
because it did look a little. The others did look very much like something that you would see in many places. That was
Yes.
perhaps a little different.
Are you
but,
allowed to express a preference at the moment, Charlotte?
No, I'm not, because I will be on the committee. But I will say we're touring these 4 bronzes around key areas in Britain in June and July. This is the Canterbury Commemoration Society, and it'll all be on their website. And we'll be at Penshurst Place, the Marlow Theatre in Canterbury, Canterbury Cathedral, up at the Royal Exchange in London. If you invite us to Folkestone, we'll come down, because we've had some really generous donations from Folkestone
Brilliant.
families.
Please come.
Great. It was really lovely to see you, though. It's really interesting to hear a little bit more about it. Thank you all so much for coming in. That's all we've got time for this week. To all of our guests, a big thank you. And of course, we'll be back next Sunday. Until then, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks for watching.